The Business Today Accenture Leadership Dialogues brings me to the most exciting destinations across the country where we talk tech, innovation, and this time, something very close to my heart, auto as well. I'm here at the Maruti Suzuki Innovation Gym to do a lot of heavy lifting in Gurgaon when it comes to ideas, tech, innovation with two men who need no introduction, Rajesh Uppal of Maruti Suzuki and Ankur Aggarwal of Accenture. Gentlemen, what a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Aayush.
Thank you so much, Aayush, for having us.
So we're going to start off with the nomenclature. Maruti Suzuki Innovation Gym. Now, we visit a lot of auto companies around the world. This is special. The fact that you've named it a gym, I know you're into fitness as well, and that it looks like this. What is the genesis of this particular facility, sir?
Aayush, to foster the innovation in the company, we thought working with startup is very critical for us. And we started this innovation gym to ensure that we work with startup and incubate them to build solutions for the industry. So we started a program called Maruti Mail, which is the program for startups in the country. Now we go for young startups, ask them, give them a problem statement to work on and create solution for our industry. Now they are mentored by our senior people. We invest in them to make a paid POC for the organization and make them a vendor if everything is successful. Till now, we have worked with almost more than 60 startups. Out of them, 20 of them have already become our vendors. So this innovation gym is really working on creating more and more startups, doing work for the organization and create product for the organizations.
Absolutely, really building value. A third, you said, of those startups are actually now vendors of the company and doing some really cool stuff as well. And
indeed, we also investing into them if they are successful. That's another piece which we want them to work and create a unicorn in the country, I guess.
But Uppal-san, that makes a lot of sense because you want to drive growth. And as an engine of growth, someone who understands it really well is here from Accenture. Ankur, when we speak of the partnership with Maruti Suzuki here and Accenture, it is fascinating that we have a product like this to really breed that innovation. But if we speak of this partnership, how is it very different or any different or unique from your partnerships with other OEMs perhaps?
Aayush, you heard Uppal-san speaking, right? The DNA of Maruti Suzuki is very different from many other OEMs, right? The innovation culture that is fostered in the organization, the leverage that Maruti does by setting up of centers of excellence. It is where the minds meet of Maruti as well as Accenture, right? So that we can collaboratively drive enterprise-wide transformation. I'll give you a few examples of how there are things happening differently as compared to many other OEMs or other organizations. Let me take an example of the data work that is being driven by Maruti. I mean, the outlook is to first look at data strategy, refining that data strategy to moving on to redefining the data architecture of the organization to break through the organizational silos or different ownerships of data to have one common view and accelerate journeys of analytics and artificial intelligence within the organization. Another example, I think the digital core transformation that Maruti is undergoing right now is also phenomenal. It is to drive a lot of productivity improvement within the organization as well as foster and drive more innovation through leveraging that stable digital core. I think we're very fortunate to be a part of some of these journeys together with Maruti. Maruti is a force to reckon with, right? The size, the complexity is industry defining. I mean, the front-end customer-facing processes that have been, or the customer-facing journeys that have been digitized by Maruti, I mean, it is again market-leading in various regards.
Absolutely. In fact, those are some of the developments we've been tracking here across the India Today group. Uppal-san, it's interesting when we speak of being the market leader. The company's been in India really leading the charge for nearly 4 decades now. You've played such a crucial role in that growth journey for Maruti Suzuki. But with the new age consumer, Ankur touched upon some themes that Gen Z is talking about, Gen AI, so to speak. How important is it for Maruti really to continue to innovate with places such as this one that we are sat in today and really cope with the changing, evolving demand from the consumer?
Ayush, I think innovation is something which any organization has to keep on doing regularly. My firm belief is the life of innovation is very short-lived these days. You do it something now, maybe your competition will copy it after a quarter or so, or maybe maximum a year. So how do you make sure as culturally in the organization, you keep on innovating regularly and raising the bar? I think that's the only way you can survive and work on. So take example for us now, and I think it started much before COVID. We said we'll digitize the whole customer journey into one single platform, so that we track each and every point where interaction with customer is happening digitally. Out of almost 26 touch points, we digitize almost 24 points out of that, where we have a digital information available to us so that we can give that digital experience to our customer. Now that's a huge data which we collect for the customer, and which can be used to really give a world-class customer experience to our customers going forward. And Gen AI is on top of it, will create that enablement of that data is very, very important, so that we are very prescriptive to the person interacting with the customer on what to talk, how to talk, and so on and so forth on that. I think that's the big opportunity which all of us to work on customer data which we have created to make it useful to really interact with our customer and give him the best experience possible, I guess.
The right effective use of data is what Uppal San's also talking about. But that's what I want to understand from you, Ankur. With all the work that you've been doing at Accenture across the region, with data, technology, and digital strategy, how crucial a role will these particular facets play in driving the digital transformation journey for Maruti and other top brands like Maruti Suzuki?
Ayush, if I focus on the automotive OEMs, right? Traditionally, automotive OEMs, if I can take the liberty to say, have been laggards in adoption of digital technologies, right? The focus was traditionally more on the manufacturing side of adopting technology in that space. Post-COVID, there was a significant change and shift that happened. Change was more around the complexities in supply chain that came, all the challenges that came about, and there was a mindset shift. As we see now, there is a significant openness in adopting organization-wide digital and technology interventions to see how business overall efficiencies can be brought in, how new revenue streams can be opened up. There is, in the entire auto OEM space, software-defined vehicles is another major shift that is happening. From traditional hardware-driven cars, right, to move towards all software-driven operating models, where you can very openly, nimbly shift with changing customer preferences, right? As consumer preferences are changing, you can really give a better experience to the consumer in the car. You can, throughout the life cycle of the car, keep shifting in or pushing more changes that are coming in. That is something which a lot of trends that we are seeing. You talked about generative AI, Uppal San also touched about it. Generative AI is significantly changing, I would say, or a significant priority across industries. Yeah. Now it's not really a myth or anything. And automotive industry is taking a strong notice of it. We believe that generative AI can drive significant reinvention of businesses rather than pockets of interventions. And every business should move towards being an AI-led business. Now, automotive industry, across the value chain of the industry, there can be interventions of Gen AI, whether it is control, performance. Uppal San talked about consumer experience or customer experience, customer support. All of that can be significantly impacted and changed. I believe millions of dollars of value pools can be unlocked leveraging Gen AI for a large auto OEM globally. And I think it is just a matter of value unlocks to happen.
It's interesting because the conversation about Gen AI keeps changing and literally things go by in a flash. But let's not just stick to Gen AI. Let's talk about other emerging tech. Uppal San, when we talk about there's quantity and then there's quality. And I know that some of the instrumental work you've done here in Maruti Suzuki, there's a huge stress on business effectiveness, really driving that value using technology. Do you think that is imperative, the way forward when we talk about really driving that engine of growth for the company?
Absolutely. I think traditionally, always IT has seen as the something which can create efficiency in the organization. Now, 5 years back, we thought this is not a only thing which can do. The business effectiveness or business value is one important area. So we said we need two organizations. One is focusing on efficiency, but another organization, which is we call it digital enterprise here, which focus on effectiveness. How can we create more value from the customer? That's where this digital organization was created. We started with around 5 people. Now we have more than 500 people working on your digital organization. And the way we have done it is we have created different COEs to focus on different technology areas. We have one COE which looks at data, IoTs and analytics on that. We have another COE looks at creating digital products done through agile methods on there. We have another COE looking at automation, all the RPAs and all the rapid development tools in the company adoption. Also, we created a business process COE, which creating the new business model can be created, like subscription marketplace or a finance marketplace we have created and all, to really create a digital products, incubation and building that up. And last COE we created was for innovation from the open innovation, where we work with startups to build that up and all. Yeah. There's a wholesome organization only focusing on the business value, then efficiencies. Efficiency, IT can take care of it.
But it's interesting, you mentioned some things which I want to understand a little better. Subscription marketplace, finance marketplace. These sound like, well, disruptive products coming in from the Maruti Suzuki stables. Could you elaborate and tell us, we as a consumer see what the final benefit is like, but you have worked on this from ideation all the way, inception all the way till execution. So how does this work with the power of the Maruti Suzuki Innovation Gym and the partnership with Accenture?
Okay, subscription is a use case we thought that people need car for small time. So you are traveling to or maybe you are posted to a new city for some time and you need a car over there. Now instead of buying a car and selling off is a major chain, can you on your mobile look for a car available, a fresh new car, and you can subscribe it for 1 year, 6 months or whatever time you want it and all, and give it back. Pay EMI by your mobile phone and keep running your car. That's the way this model was worked on. It's win-win for customer because he needs the car for the short period. It's good for us, it's additional revenue coming over there. And as a marketplace, you get the right kind of partner to give you those services around. Interesting second was the finance marketplace we created, where we connected 26 banks into one single platform. Right. And in the digital journey of the customer, this is one step where as a customer, you can walk into our marketplace. Based on your car requirement, your loan requirement, we can ask all the 26 banks to compete for that, give you a right EMI or right options which is suited to you. So it's win-win for customer and win for the finance company to give you that and all. So these are the new innovative product we could create to give a best experience to our customer, right, and also create value through digital in the organization.
Uppal-san, since this is the Business Today Accenture Leadership Dialogues, one big takeaway from this series is lessons in leadership. And I'm sitting with two top business leaders as well. So I'm going to start off with you, Uppal-san. When we're talking about innovation in a legacy company, a legendary company, which has been around in India for the past 4 decades, and some of these disruptive ideas, how do you really build that culture of innovation and open innovation really in a company like Maruti Suzuki to lead the charge? What is that lesson in leadership that we can take away from this?
First is it has to lead from the top. So my CEO is something he's very passionate about it and he's right from his office. That's the point number one. Secondly, digital innovation need a digital supply chain. You need capability to deliver and capability to consume. Right. So you need to generate demand for the digital. So for that, we created a huge platform where we create knowledge for each and every, right from top management to people below, what digital means for them, and ask them to create more and more ideas of digital can be done. And parallelly, we created a digital enterprise who can supply these demands over there and all. So I think each organization need to do is create a digital supply chain within the organization.
Interesting. Ankur, I'm going to keep this short. Do you really agree with that? Is that how Accenture looks at it as well?
No, absolutely, completely resonate. I think we at Accenture we don't look at just doing digital interventions at only functional levels. We want to take a more holistic enterprise-wide lens to it to drive a broader transformation. More and more organizations today are transforming faster and more than ever before, right? But what we are seeing, Aayush, is there is a small segment of those organizations whom we are calling it as reinventors. These are the organizations who are consciously following a strategy of total enterprise reinvention, right? Now, this strategy is enabled by a very strong digital core, which is enabled by, we talked about data, cloud, AI. It is also enabled by a very strong talent strategy, right? And new ways of working. Now, these new ways of working and talent strategy help in reinventing the organization. Now, if by doing this, these reinventors are able to not only generate incremental revenue growth for the organization or drive more cost reduction benefits or more balance sheet improvements, but set new performance frontiers, not only for the organization, but for the industry at large. Time is definitely ripe for doing all of this because there is so much disruption happening. There are new entities or organizations coming in and disrupting organization models. For automotive OEMs, it's more about a lot of the mobility and e-mobility services that are coming in. There's a significant focus on sustainability. I think we as Accenture do a research every year and that's called our Tech Vision. I'll quote a quick stat from that. More than about 90% of the auto executives globally who were spoken to said that over the next 3 years, they believe Gen AI will impact their core business processes. And more than 96% of those executives believed that Gen AI will make them really reinvent their core technology architectures itself. So with a lot of this happening, I think total enterprise reinvention is the way to look at as Accenture, as we say.
What's really interesting is, and this could be from even a marketing strategy standpoint, that as someone who covers the tech and auto worlds on a daily basis, I see that they're merging in more ways than one. I don't know if globally it's the Elon Musk effect, but it seems like one big differentiating factor with auto companies now is tech. And I feel like that's an important facet of where Accenture comes in as well. I want to get your take on it, Ankur, with Accenture's investments in the automotive space. Where do you see the future of auto and tech? And do you also agree that those worlds are fast merging?
Absolutely. I mean, many years back, we had said that every company would be a tech or a digital enterprise, right? And auto all the more, right? With so much of, we talked about software-defined vehicles, in-car software that is coming in, there is a significant convergence that is happening. I mean, you compare a mobile phone to a in-car. I mean, inside a car, there is a shared space that you are in. Mobile is your more personal space. Now, with all the software coming in the car, automotive companies have such a, I would say, an opportunity to give shared experiences to the consumers sitting inside the car and give experiences which might be even better than mobile experiences, and in turn, as Uppal was also referring to, extract more revenue streams out of those. So significant convergence happening, but also significant opportunity emanating from that.
Super, Uppal, we're going to end with you. Do you think that the worlds of auto and tech are really merging into one, and that's a good thing for both sectors going forward?
Absolutely. I think the car going forward is a computer running on wheel than really a physical car. And since it's a computer running on wheel, the connectivity, the infotainments, and there's so many services which can be done. And also, since you know the location of the car, I think you can add many more services on top of it. I think going forward, getting revenue from mobility will be one big area of work, not only a car, but over mobility as a function.
Uppal, Ankur, what a pleasure it's been to really pick your brains on this one. I've been taking notes. I hope you guys have been as well. This brings us to the end of yet another fascinating episode of the Business Today Accenture Leadership Dialogues. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.